Finally, a bad guy.
Hey Toy fans, Rob here. Let's get these guys out of the box and see what they're all about.
Hey Toy fans, Rob here. Back with another figure review for you guys today, and today we're looking at the Dark Archer. I am so excited for this figure. We don't get a lot of Green Arrow specific bad guys in the McFarlane Toys line. Sure, there's been some Deathstrokes and some other characters that Green Arrow is tangled with, but this Dark Archer, through and through, that's a Green Arrow bad guy. You can see he's got his quiver and arrows and his bow inside. It's got a trading card in the back and the figure itself. On the back of the packaging, we just have a blown up version of what's probably on the trading card once you get him out of the box. So, this is him, guys. This is the Dark Archer. Let's get him out of the box and see what he's all about. All right, toy fans, so here we have Dark Archer, Malcom Merlyn, Merlyn the Magician, whatever he's going by these days, we have him out of the packaging. The first thing to mention is that this is not the only version of this figure available on the market currently. There is a variant edition that seems to be a more modern version of the character. The version that I have is definitely a more classic take on the character. Accessory-wise, he comes with a few different things here. He does have a quiver, as we saw out of the package. It does come off, and it's designed to plug straight into his back and not be at an angle or anything. It fits snugly straight up and down. He's got some arrows to put in his quiver, but they're really not meant to be used as anything other than decoration for his quiver. He can't hold those, he can't knock them on his bow. He also has, as I just mentioned, a bow. So the bow is standard fare. It has a plastic string. It's not really that usable for actually firing an arrow, but it looks fine enough in his hand as an accessory. And then he does have a standardized McFarlane Toys DC base. Now this is the first one I've received that has the DC Bullet logo on it. I think in the past it's had a textured or embossed version of the previous DC Comics logo. And then we get a trading card that does repeat the artwork that we saw on the back of the packaging. Now looking at this, I'm going to guess that this is his most recent appearance from the comics. He even has a scarred face there, but it does not match the figure that I've got here, but it also doesn't match the variant version of the figure that's available on the market either. So I'm not 100% sure on the origin of this image. If you guys know in the comments, or if you guys know, just let me know in the comments below. But that's everything that came packaged with the figure. Now for the figure itself. I do think this is a pretty great rendition of Dark Archer. I think a little more TLC has been put into this figure than we see in some other McFarlane figures. I like that he has some paint detail in his hair there, some highlights. He's got a nicely sculpted face. His eyes are actually looking straight on, which isn't always something we've come to expect from McFarlane figures. His arrows and his quiver were painted. He's got some other painted details here, like the bolts on his hip. He has some nice textured detail. I don't know if that's coming through there. Textured detail on his outfit. I like that a lot. And overall, from aesthetics, he actually looks pretty great. Where he falls a little bit short is in the articulation. He doesn't have any butterfly joints, which is, you know, just murder for a character who needs to fire a bow and arrow. You're never going to get his arm stretched across his chest the way you needed to get all of those great dynamic archery poses. But he does have a rotation at the shoulder that goes all the way around. He's got double jointed elbows, and he's got a wrist that actually tilts downward and upward, you know, which is helpful for sword characters or bow and arrow characters. There we go. And he's got a diaphragm joint that does move pretty nicely. His head is a little strange. It doesn't look up, but it will rotate left and right, and it will look down. It just doesn't have that up motion, which isn't, you know, not the worst thing when he's not a flyer, but it sure would be nice if he could look up. Leg-wise, his hips will go forward about that far. They'll also go back about that far. He's got a double-jointed knee. And then he does have an ankle that will bend down, go forward very far. It will rotate all the way around at the ankle. And then he's got some toe articulation that, you know, it's there. I don't know if you're really going to use it on a character like this, but if you need toe articulation, you've got it. So really, overall, as his quiver falls, overall, I think he looks great. He doesn't move as great, but he's got some decent accessories. All right, so height-wise, this figure does stand right at 7 inches tall. Not bad, so it's pretty standard fare for McFarlane figures. Let's go ahead and do some size comparisons here. I'm going to bring in the recent McFarlane Toys digital version, Longbow Hunter Green Arrow. You can see he's on a platform, but he's basically the same height if you don't count the tip of the hood there. Basically the same height as this Dark Archer figure. We're going to bring in the Connor Hawk that we also got this year. And he's just a little, actually, it's probably about the same height, actually. I was going to say he was shorter, but I do think he's about the same height. We're going to bring in the Injustice 2 Green Arrow figure, who is by far the tallest guy in the lot here. And let's bring in the DC Universe Classics Green Arrow figure. You can see the height difference there. He does stand shorter than Dark Archer. And let's go ahead and bring in the classic DC Icons Longbow Hunter's Green Arrow figure. You'll see he is much shorter than Dark Archer, but that's what we've come to expect from the DC Icons line. So if you guys have a Green Arrow in your collection already, here's the scale to expect. Overall, I'm keeping this one short and sweet. If you guys are looking for a villain for your ever-growing Green Arrow collection, you gotta add Dark Archer. He's just a classic villain, and no Green Arrow collection is complete without him. But if you're not a fan of the character and you're only picking and choosing the McFarlane figures as you go, well, this is probably one you can go ahead and wait for a sale. His paint and sculpt are really nice, but the articulation really does get in the way of the fun, especially when we're dealing with an archery character. Thanks for watching this review today, guys. If you like what you saw here, please do me a favor and go ahead and give this video a like, share it on whatever platform you guys like to use, subscribe for more, and I'll see you guys next time.